So in this video, we're going to take a deep dive back to 1998, or 1999 for American terms, to the first Mario Party game released for the N64. And this is a new series I'm going to be doing now. One I came up with recently, but I'm kind of excited to do. I'm going to be going through a bunch of different old games, maybe some new ones too, and just looking through all of their manuals, their boxes, and just other renders and artworks and content from the games outside of the games themselves, and just analyzing them and talking about them and showing them off. But I wanted to start with some of the older Mario parties because, as I've mentioned in previous videos, I'm a big Mario Party fan now, so I want to make Mario Party content. So what better place to start than with the original? So to get right into it, I'm going to look at the manual first, and on the first two pages you can actually see in the background the Peach's birthday cake title screen artwork, because in this game each time you play any board, the next time you start the game up, you actually see a nice little render based on that board, and this is what you see for Peach's birthday cake, and they happen to use it in the manual here. Following that, on the next two pages, we actually see the Wario's Battle Canyon one, but I'm actually skipping the stuff on these pages just because it's just your generic console instruction stuff, which we don't really care about. So anyway, on the next pages, we see this nice little render here of all the characters surrounding a star, and I do gotta say, at this time, Peach, specifically among all these characters, looked really weird. Like Donkey Kong, Yoshi, and Toad, they're not really human, so it's easy to make them look fine. But then the more human characters, Peach looking the most human, or at least she's supposed to, I guess, she just kind of looks weird here. And Luigi and Mario, compared to Mario, Luigi just looks really weird too. Like, he looks a lot less human, something is soulless in his eyes, with like the white glares and his pupils being bigger. Moving on from that, we get character introductions, and for some reason it lists Mario as not having the strength of Donkey Kong or Wario, even though that aspect of them does not come into play at all in this game, so who knows why they brought that one up. And for Luigi here, he's surrounded by money, which is weird because you'd think maybe Wario would be. However, they do note that Luigi is smarter than Mario, and that's not really something that they mention often. In fact, this is like the only time I've ever heard it before, but that actually does kind of make sense when you consider the Luigi's Mansion series, which is a lot more puzzle-based than a lot of Mario games, but of course that wouldn't even come out for another 3 years after the original Mario Party. Peach and DK, they don't really have anything too noteworthy, but Wario here, you can see him using a chance time block, although it kind of looks like he's holding it as if it was a dice block when that's really not what it actually is. And also technically that's not really how the dice block works, because that's trying to show off all the different types at once. Normally it would be the two dice blocks have the character faces and then the other one have what you're exchanging, but this has both, and also the Bowser one, which would be Bowser's chance time, which is also a different thing. And then you got Yoshi, who is clearly playing the awful minigame Castaways here. Following that, you've got some button mapping explanations and how the game works. You've got this gross render of Koopa Troopa here, specifically a red-shelled one, or at least that's what it looks like based on his shoe colors. However, the one in the game, if I'm not mistaken, is green, so who knows what this guy's doing here. Then we've just got a bunch of random pages about stuff that isn't really too important, honestly, until we get to the adventure board descriptions page. Here we can see nice little renders of each of the maps. I'm not actually sure if these even appear in the game. If they do, I don't know where they would appear. And on this page you actually have this one render of Mario that I'm pretty sure is actually also from the Mario 64 manual, or just from that game's artwork somewhere. Maybe I'm wrong. If not, it's very similar to one. And just one thing I want to point out about this page is that for Yoshi's Tropical Island, it calls the thwomps blue thwomps, which I don't think I've ever heard that anywhere before, since at least at the time, every thwomp was blue, except for, I guess, Marty, the thwomp from Mario Kart 64's Bowser's Castle track, the one that's locked behind the gate. But aside from that singular one, they're all blue, so I don't know why they call them blue thwomps. And of course, this page leaves out Bowser's Magma Mountain and Eternal Star, which are the unlockable boards, but it does suggest that they exist by saying perhaps there are other boards waiting to be discovered. Anyway, then you've got this Sleeping Mario render, which I'm certain is also from Mario 64. I'm pretty sure that's where that's from, so I guess they were just reusing quite a bit here. Anyway, a couple pages later, you have this render of Toad, and like all the other renders of Toad here, he just has feet. But I want to point that out because in the Japanese manual, actually, there's this one hideous and I think niche but infamous render of Toad with legs, which is just very weird and gross. Anyway, in explaining the option house, they actually refer to this one NPC as Fun Gus, which is the character's actual name, but I don't even know if they actually refer to him that in the game itself. So if it's really just only the manual, that's just really weird. Don't know why they even bothered to name him in that case. Anyway, a cool thing they do here towards the end of the manual is actually listing every single minigame in one nice big page. They don't explain what they are, but they do organize them by category, which is pretty cool, and I think that's probably the only Mario Party manual that actually lists every single minigame. And then you also have a little explanation of each type of minigame with this cute little render of each character's head. And it looks like they almost use this respective character's colors, like Mario being red, Luigi being green, even though in Mario Party his color's actually blue because Yoshi is green, but then Yoshi is purple for some reason because Wario is yellow, even though he's actually supposed to be purple in the game, but Peach is pink like she is, and I don't know what they were doing here actually. This is just a cool page. Then you've got the useless note page that a lot of manuals used to have, with the Yoshi's Tropical Island starting screen in the background, and then you've got the DK one in the important notice at the end. Anyway, just looking at some other artwork for the game based on the what the Mario Wiki has to display for it, I want to point out a couple renders. First of all, here's this weird Koopa Troopa render where he's holding a flag, and for some reason they did a whole showcase. You've got him staring straight on, standing sideways but still staring at you, standing sideways, his head facing you but not staring at you, and then standing sideways and also standing forward but not looking at you. I don't know why they need that many variants of it. Also, the ones from the side are very suspiciously designed. Yeah. And then also here's a red Koopa Troopa. Again, I don't even know what this guy does in the game. I don't think he even exists, but there it is, I guess. And this looks like it would have been in some Japanese guide, maybe, based on the scan here, but this is actually the logo, or the box artwork, without the logo in the way, so you can actually see that they're on a little kind of Mario Galaxy World style, really small, round plane, but it's the board they're on. And of course, this doesn't really match up with any of the boards in the game, but you can see some red, blue, and a single happening space there. And also we've got that same render of Wario holding the chance time block, but for whatever reason they changed the Luigi icon to another Bowser one, which that's just a useless change. Don't know why they would have done that. Here's a pretty well-known render of all the characters from the game. Again, Peach just looks really weird here. Also, I don't know what this weird two-fingered symbolism is of some of the characters. You got Mario pointing at you with two fingers, Luigi doing a little finger gun with two fingers. Yeah, not sure what that's all about. Also, Toad, very, very weird mouth going on here. Looks like it got like carved out of his face. These are just some gross looking renders. Also, this was still at the time where Wario was just insanely larger than Mario. I think they're kind of phasing out of that now, which I'm kind of happy about. I feel like they should just be the same height. It's just weird that they're not. Anyway, here's the Mario's Rainbow Castle artwork, which I think was like the only one not shown off in the background of the instruction manual. As we can see here, Mario is the only one with the wing cap on naturally, and everyone's just kind of holding on to him. Luigi's holding on to Wario's foot. Poor guy. Luigi's engine room, we have Wario getting harassed again. Peach's birthday cake. Okay, I'm seeing a theme here. Now he's getting drowned in icing. Ah, here we go. Yoshi's Tropical Island. He's actually not getting attacked this time. Instead, Luigi seems to have just gotten hit in the face by a shell from Donkey Kong. Canonically the strongest character of the bunch, so he's probably just dead now. Oh well. Mario's Battle Canyon. Now Yoshi's getting the short end of the stick. He seems to be falling into a pit of bombs. That's probably not good. And Peach is praying to, I don't know who. DK's Jungle Adventure. We've got Wario dying again. Really unfortunate time for him. Also, DK's feet are just really gross here. I don't know why his thumb toes are so short. Here's this really awful sprite of Yoshi when he wins a minigame. He licks his own nose somehow. Then, of course, you've got these debug sprites where every single character has an actually unique sprite except for Donkey Kong. He's got this weird banana question mark and a silhouette of his face. Not sure what the lore behind that one is, but yeah. Then you've got these sprites that appear for the mini-map, which I'm honestly a big fan of these. I like really simple, cutesy, pixel style, and these are very nice. They've even got ones for Boo, Koopa, Bowser, and Koopa Kid. Also, I want to point out Minigame Island here. This is just like the map view of it as seen on the Mario Wiki's gallery of the game. It almost kind of looks like Castaway Bay from Mario Party 6. That's just a little thing I noticed. Anyway, looking at the box art on the back side, we can see a very diluted looking version of that render of all the characters. Also, I like how one of the little bullet notes here on the back of the box mentions, like, they have 3 bullet notes. The 2 are more so about the actual party mode, the main mode, but then the one actually is devoted to the minigame island, which is the solo player mode, so it makes it seem like that's like a big part of the game, which I guess that kind of moved on to become the focus of having a story mode in the games, which was of course first added in Mario Party 3 and kind of became a thing in most of the games from that point on. Also, on the back of the Japanese box, they have this little render of Peach's birthday cake. I guess they decided to use that map for whatever reason over the others. Just a few more things I want to point out. First of all, there's actually an image for the isolated background from the minigame Facelift, or at least in this version that appears in Mario Party 1, you're essentially doing a Bowser version of the Mario minigame from Mario 64, and the background actually says Super Bowser 64 as opposed to Super Mario 64, as a nice little reference to that game. And one more thing, there's actually this scan of some ad for the game, and just one little thing I noticed about it is that you can see an N64 with 4 kids playing on it, and a cartridge, which is presumably Mario Party put in, but it doesn't actually have the little warning label on the back of it, so I'm not really sure why they did that. Maybe to make just the general shape of the cartridge stick out more without the that label being on the back. Who knows? So yeah, that's pretty much all I want to discuss for this game. That's everything I felt was worthy of pointing out from what I just looked at in the manuals, the box art, and just all of the miscellaneous renders and artworks and sprites and everything from this game. I'd like to continue moving on with the different Mario Party games and looking at their manuals and stuff, and also some other games in the future, maybe. If you enjoyed this, tell me maybe what I could do in the future entries to this series, I guess. But anyway, consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. And anyway, thanks for watching.